Alrighty, hello out there, and a happy new year to everyone listening to the Unleashed podcast with me, Mitch Williams, and my partner, Ray Scipione. We are going to dive into what is going on here in Philadelphia and across the nation as far as sports go. It's been a hard last year, right?
Awful. I know we haven't been here in a few weeks. I want to wish you a Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and all that. Wish it to the audience as well.
Hope everybody had a healthy and happy holiday. Now it's time to start throwing blows. We got to start with that performance last night of the Eagles. How does a team in Philadelphia tank? Number one, they did it with the Sixers, right? But when you're talking about the Eagles or the Phillies,
right,
it's a little different.
It's funny because, and I heard you on 94 today, people kind of almost expect people to say, yeah, I think we should have tanked it, but I know you don't tank anything.
No.
I don't care if you would have got the number 1 pick or the number 20 pick, you're not tanking.
It's the integrity of the game, and I'm just one of these guys that beats on that.
It is.
You play to win the game.
You do. And my getting to this, the Giants being upset. Listen, you had 16 games to get to the playoffs.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be begging the Eagles to get you in. So let's just throw that argument out.
That doesn't exist, that argument, because you had every opportunity to put yourself
correct
in the playoffs. You don't count on – if you put yourself in a position to have to count on another team,
right,
you're screwed anyway.
It looked so awkward when Sudfeld came in last night. I mean – I think he forgot to take his gloves off.
How long has it been since he's taken a snap in a game?
Well, he was activated first game and the last game of this year.
Yeah.
It was inactive. Carson comes out. He's inactive.
There's no way in the world they were going to risk getting Carson hurt and deplete his trade value.
You know, we just listened to Howie Roseman's press conference, and he's got all the answers. Well, these smart guys always have the answers. You know, someone brought up about the win total, and he said, well, we won 35 games over the last, 6 years.
You won 4 fucking games.
Exactly.
That's what you won.
Exactly.
You cannot couch it. You cannot put a bow on it. You sucked.
Total disgrace. And the worst part is to see his players on the field after they took Hurts out. They were like dumbfounded. I mean, they showed the veterans.
Kelsey?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. I bet Kelsey's losing his mind.
And Hurts was just shaking his head. I'm telling you, Mitch, they win that game if he stays in.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if he threw for 50 yards. He was running all over the field.
And making good decisions. And I'll tell you what, and it pisses me off, the interception he threw in the first half last night.
Yes.
That was intended for Ertz. If the defender gets his head around, how does Ertz not get his head around? That ball was a dime, and Ertz is giving no effort.
Ertz packed it in.
Long time ago.
I mean, to see him sitting on the bench at the end of the game, like reminiscing as if it was his final game, it probably was. I don't know, Mitch. He just didn't. He didn't. I don't know.
I don't know how they played him or why they played him, but it has to be a stark kind of slap in the face to him. He set the all-time record for receptions a year ago, right? Or was that 2 years ago?
He's second behind Carmichael. Carmichael's got the all-time receptions for the
single
Eagles.
season.
Oh, single season, absolutely.
For a tight end in the NFL.
It was 2 years ago.
Yeah, over 100 receptions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And he thought he should get paid like Kelsey in Kansas City.
Right.
And Kittle out in San Francisco. The problem is the yak for him is non-existent. Yards after catch. With the other two guys, the danger is just starting when they get the ball in their hand. With Ertz, if you throw a 7-yard pass, it's a 7-yard gain. If you throw a 15-yard pass, it's a 15-yard gain. He does not gain any yardage after catch. That's why Goddard was sitting on the bench yesterday. He is the tight end of the future.
Absolutely. It's crazy how in the NFL, when these guys turn 30, they talk about them like they're 50 years old.
Because
it's unbelievable.
You are, unless you're a quarterback or a kicker, if you're 30 in the NFL, you're old.
Now, go ahead.
How old do you think Fletcher Cox is?
I mean, Fletcher Cox, 36.
He's 30.
Oh, my God. Yeah, these guys, and they don't live long after they retire either, these big guys. Are you sold on Jalen Hurts?
In the right offensive scheme, I'm absolutely sold on him because I love his demeanor, the way he carries himself on the field. He doesn't get overly excited, but when he does get excited, it's with his teammates.
Yeah?
Carson never celebrated with his teammates.
Never.
He separated himself. Carson is the one that ran himself out of Philadelphia.
I agree with you. I'll tell you one other thing that, I was always this guy, good is good, no matter what division you play in football and baseball. But I got to tell you, Mitch, I'm sorry. To play 3-4 years in the SEC and Carson, a Division 1A, Division 2 quarterback, whatever you want to call him, what a difference in, like you said, being a leader, being in front of 120,000 people every week.
Now, did you notice something? The little shit that I pick up on?
Go ahead.
I remember when I asked you if you noticed the offensive line in the huddle, no one would even look at Wentz.
Right.
I looked for it last night. Kelsey, all the offensive line, they're looking directly at Jalen Hurts when he's telling them what the play is. They have no time for Wentz anymore. Even
if you're not an experienced NFL fan, if I showed you two teams, if I showed you 10 plays in each game, you cannot deny that the offense was charged with Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah. It completely changed.
And, Mitch, how many sacks
exactly
would he have gotten last night? Let's not talk about the year. Let's talk about last night, the plays that this kid extended.
Oh, yeah.
And ran for 10, 15 yards.
And the thing about it, there's no panic in it. He stays back down, or he goes through his checkdowns, and he knows when it's time to pull it down and go. And the difference in the speed of the game when he's in there and when Wentz is in there, it's all about holding the football too long in the NFL and knowing when to have it out of your hand. You look at Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. The guy plays quarterback like a shortstop. He can throw the ball from any angle. He has one of the best touches in all of football.
It looks like he's not even throwing hard.
No,
it's unbelievable.
He throws more balls off his back foot.
Right.
But he is extremely accurate.
So now everyone's going to tell you, well, does Jalen Hurts throw? Listen, you got a guy in Baltimore who's throwing sidearm.
Oh, he's got a horrible – his mechanics
and they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL going to the playoffs.
Yeah, then they got Dobbins and –
I think he throws fine.
It's ugly, but it gets there.
No. I'm talking about Jalen.
Yes, he does.
I'm going to tell you that if it's the time of the small, scrambling quarterback. Look at Seattle. Look at Arizona.
Kansas
City. How you guys like it? Philly. We chased Big Red, and I say we because I was bitching too. You chased Big Red out of town. You only had to wait another year or two for a Super Bowl. I mean, the guy's winning percentage has to be outrageous. Guy won 12 games a year at Philly.
Oh, yeah.
So much. There's so many NFL questions for the 9 for 99. I don't want to get into all of them.
Don't get into those yet.
But I was so embarrassed. I texted you last night. I think it was 11:30 about just bullshit. Mitch, it was so bad as a fan to watch that last night. And Mitch down by 3 points.
And I am so Doug needs to figure out. And whoever it's coming from upstairs, whether it's Jeffrey or Howie, Doug didn't make that decision last night.
You really don't think so?
No, there is no way. And if he did, don't come out on a radio station in Philadelphia and piss down our back and tell us it's raining.
Exactly what he did.
That was so bad.
And his microphone during the press conference conveniently went out.
Yeah.
I just want to tell Sudfeld, dude, take your gloves off, you sissy. Take your gloves off. It was 36 degrees last night. It wasn't even cold. I mean, awful. Good snap. He fumbles. Like, it was so bad, Mitch. It looked like a guy who found out 3 minutes ago that he was going in.
He probably did.
I mean, that was a disgrace.
That was probably a phone call from upstairs that said, get him in the game.
And that's $2 million a year. And I'm going to tell you something. I heard a great comment last night. He may have played himself out of the backup quarterback role.
It's going to come down to training camp. Because if they keep Wentz, Hurts and Wentz are going to battle for it. And there is going to be, if they don't move Wentz.
Right.
And he's in the quarterback competition at camp. And they give him the starting job. Kelsey and that offensive line are going to be so pissed off. There's no way as a coach you can't see that.
So here's my best guess if I had to. You have to have them compete next year, and I'll tell you why. It's a win-win for the Eagles. Number one, you got 4 games on Hurts. So if he's a guy you want to get rid of, I truly believe, especially on a rookie contract, you could get something for him. He has showed his value, okay? On the flip side, you give Carson Wentz another year to get better. So say you have a quarterback, say you have a preseason, okay? We have a quarterback competition. And let me tell you, Wentz can't get any worse. So let's say he goes out and has a decent preseason, and Hurts wins the job. Now you got an improved Wentz that somebody's going to take a chance on.
The problem is, though, right, they don't have the coaches to improve Wentz.
Well, you lost your defensive coordinator. Okay, love him or hate him, he just packed it up and said, I'm taking a year off. I mean, what's that tell you, number one?
Exactly.
I don't know. I was so mad last night that I was get rid of Doug. Just get rid of him. Now the reports coming out from reliable sources. This isn't people, just talking shit. Reliable sources that obviously Carson Wentz, if he's not going to start, he wants out.
The problem with I hate guys that do that, Ray.
Right.
If you don't want to be the backup quarterback, play better. It's pretty simple.
Exactly.
I've always told my kids that I coached and told their parent, if you want your son to play, he's got to get better.
Right.
It's that simple. Carson, in my opinion, from what I've seen over the last 3 years, he's uncoachable. And I see that. Don't you see it in all the players' faces and the way they react to him?
Well, I see how he acts. He acts like a little baby when he does
He's
bad.
detached from everybody else. I think he's looking at that contract and think, oh, okay, I'm better than everybody. No, you're not.
Why did he get so bad so quickly? I mean, everyone knows about the injury.
I don't think he's ever come back from the ACL injury. I think that's always on the back of his mind. And then last year, his season getting ended by that horseshit play from the Seattle dude.
Right.
With the concussion. So he's had those injuries.
Right.
Has he even been close? And everyone wants to go back to last year's last 4 games. They might as well have been playing high school teams.
Right.
The last 4 games last year. Those aren't games that Carson had to step up for him to win. He had to just play his average game to win those. And they're all, the people that love him, he saved our season last year. No, he didn't.
Did you see Smith last night? Now, granted, he was awful. Not awful, but, he doesn't throw a pass for more than 10 yards. Mitch, and I know you saw it too, the documentary on this kid. This kid, his leg was down to the bone. His bone was showing on his leg. And this kid came back from an injury.
17 surgeries.
Should have cut his leg off. His leg should have been amputated.
Did you see that brace he has to wear?
Oh, my God. That's because he's got a drop foot. I don't even have a drop foot, and I had the same injury. But I have to tell you, you can't – I know he had the bad knee injury. He had one in college. I don't know if he thinks he's snake bitten. I don't know if he heard – I mean, Mitch, come on. I know they say you're supposed to be mentally tough. Let's just look. Guy's having an MVP season. Clearly, everybody in football said he was headed for an MVP award in 17.
Yep.
Not only does he get hurt, his backup comes in and performs no less than Superman.
Yes.
And they win they win a Super Bowl. Mitch, come on. Now he gets hurt the following year. Superman's still behind because now everyone's screaming for Superman. Okay, so now Foles is there. He gets hurt. Foles almost
he wins the playoff game. Should have
Exactly.
won
15 yards away, as Roseman said today. They
the
were
playoff game.
Correct.
That Doug blew.
And they win that game, and I'm sorry, they're back into the Super. I think they're back in the Super Bowl.
I think they win it again.
So now you have that behind you. Now they draft a guy. So look, we also, fooling around. We said, look, he got rich, he got married, he became a father, and he got hurt. It's one of those four things that caused this guy to get screwed up. That's what it is.
I
Mitch.
think
it's absolutely in his head. He's not mentally tough because he played at North, your sister's ass Tech.
Yeah.
He didn't come, and that's the other thing. Hurts didn't lead one Power 5 school. He led two of them.
He won a national championship with Alabama.
Okay.
Lost the job to Tua.
Right.
And then
the number one pick in the draft.
Georgia was kicking the shit out of Alabama at halftime.
Yes.
And Tua gets hurt.
Yes.
Jalen comes off the bench and beats Georgia, brings back from 24-point deficit and beats them and loses his job again.
And didn't transfer.
No.
He didn't quit and transfer and say, I want to be traded.
He waited till the next year and transferred.
You bet your ass.
Yep.
And he graduated. He didn't have to sit out a year. He did what he had to do.
And he was in the top 4 for the Heisman Trophy.
Runner-up.
Runner-up.
And look at the 4 guys around him. They were all.
Oh, Joe Burrow was winning that hands down. He threw for 500 yards every game.
And you had the defensive end from last night.
Yeah.
He was third, I think. But so my thing is this: I think you have to have them come back. Look, I don't believe in paying $35 million and just out the window. Let him sit.
I want him.
Let him sit.
I want to see him, and this is what I truly believe.
Right.
In the back of his mind, he'll never admit it because he is a competitor.
Right.
Those injuries, his knee, his neck.
Right.
He's broken his back.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, have you followed him on Instagram?
No.
All you see is pictures of him, his wife, his dogs in North Dakota hunting.
Yeah.
He has a guide business. He's an outfitter. I don't believe that Carson really wants to play. I think he
not in Philly, Mitch.
No, not in Philly.
Not in Philly.
He's saying everything a starting quarterback that's been benched should say. Right. I'm not interested in being a backup. I want to go somewhere else.
Right.
But I'm telling you, $59 million is guaranteed to him. That's the rest of his life. If he walks away from the game today,
right,
he's got $59 million that's guaranteed to him that'll set him up for the rest of his life. He'll be healthy enough, it looks like right now,
right,
to be able to go out and do hunting guide trips and all that.
Right.
He doesn't want that to go away. His post-football life is in jeopardy because of the injuries.
But do you really think he's ready to throw in a towel right now? Everybody, and here's the other thing. Everybody's Colts. Not for nothing, but I think he looks horrible. But Phillip Rivers did lead them to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, so
he's got 9 kids. He looks like he's 100 years old.
Wait, I mean, how would you bring in Carson Wentz and replace a guy that led you to the play? I mean, he would have to retire.
Yeah.
So let's say he might.
Yeah.
Let's say they go far. Let's say they win it. I could see Phillip Rivers definitely retiring. And let's face it, they're going to get him for a song.
Yeah, they're not going to have to. They're going to have to eat 3/4 of that contract. The Eagles will.
Absolutely. So maybe the Colts take a shot, and maybe he goes there and does well. I can't.
You know what, Ray?
Mitch, he can't be that bad. He can't be that bad.
I look at what he did in 2017. What is the common denominator that's not there anymore? DeFilippo's not there.
Offensive coordinator.
Frank Reich's not there, and Carson's not there.
Right.
I'm sorry, Carson. God love him. I think what he does in the community is awesome. He gives back to the community. He's a nice guy, but I'm telling you, this guy isn't going to get better. I really don't think so. I think his skills have just left.
Mitch, I just can't see these guys miss on picks. But
Howie's horrible. We move up to the 6th pick, right? What good does that fucking do us?
Nothing, because, and it's funny, they asked him about his receiving choices over the years. Look at what Jefferson did.
DK Metcalf.
Look at Metcalf, that freak.
He's the closest thing to Calvin Johnson I've seen.
Oh, my God. So now what do you do with the – well, I don't want to – because, in your questions later, that's coming up about draft picks. But I want to give a quick shout-out to my buddy Gary Brown, former coach, San Diego State University, assistant baseball coach.
Oh, when did he coach
Jersey?
there?
He was there with Mark Grace. He coached Grace for that 1 year. Knows Mark Grace, your buddy, very well.
Gracie.
What's up, Gary? Yeah, and I talked to Grace about Gary when I saw him at an autograph show. But anyway, so let's say the Colts. Who else do you think – hey, listen, there's not that many great quarterbacks in the NFL.
No.
And the best 2 or 3 are going to be gone soon. I mean, look at what Brady did. I hate to say it. First time in history.
Now, do people understand
where
the talent was?
Yeah.
Yeah, Belichick has a lot to do with it, but
yeah.
When you got the GOAT standing back there as your quarterback, you get a good chance to win.
I'm telling you, Mitch, I was one of those guys that thought he was going to fall on his ass.
Oh,
43 years old.
And it put up 44 points yesterday.
And I'm going to tell you something. Arians tells it like it is.
Yo, I love Bruce Arians. He's from Temple.
Really?
Yo, yeah, he's a Philly guy. He's a Pennsylvania guy. I like him because every time he does an interview,
right,
it's nothing but beeps.
And the other thing is, he complained about Brady this year when he was bad. He said quarterbacks got to get better.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what he said yesterday, and you can probably quote me on this. He said he's never seen a leader, okay? And he said his skills are still amazing, but let's talk about Brady as a leader. He said he's never seen a guy come in and take over a team like this guy did.
Oh, and they're hard to find.
Oh, shit.
I played 11 years in the big league.
Right.
Darren Dalton was the only leader on a baseball team I ever played for.
What would Dutch have done if they would have took that? If they would have took you out with a no? It's like taking you out with a no hitter in the 8th inning.
They would have gone ballistic on the coach, on the manager. But you heard my story from on 94 this morning about that when they asked me about it, and I brought up something that happened in '92 when we were playing at St. Louis.
Yep.
Lee Smith had the opportunity, if he got a save, that would have been 3 more points for him, which would have pushed him into the lead and winning the Roll Age Relief Award.
And you would have got, what's that, more money in your contract?
There's probably an incentive. He probably had an incentive.
It's a great trophy with a fireman's hat.
Yeah.
A silver-plated fireman's hat.
I finished second twice. 91 to Smith.
Right.
And 89 to Mark Davis.
He was a big bitch, Lee Smith, wasn't he?
Oh, Lee's my buddy.
6'6".
Yeah, he was 6'6", 265 pounds.
Damn, football player.
So we get to the 8th inning.
Right.
The bottom of the 8th inning, they're up by 3 runs.
Okay.
Well, they get a guy on, and now I guess it was Joe Torre that was the manager. He had Milt Thompson strike out on purpose. 3 guys go up there and strike out on purpose to keep the save in shape.
Right.
For Schmitty. And I'm telling you, Fergosi lost his fucking mind on the bench. He played to win every game. It didn't matter what the score, what the situation. If you got a uniform on, you play to win the game. And I've never seen Fergosi that mad.
That's a horse shit. That's a horse shit way to. That's just a horse shit way to win an award or win an incentive.
It's like when Favre took the dive for Strahan.
Yeah,
and let that sack happen.
That's horse shit.
You play the game, and whatever comes out of it comes out of it.
And he beat Reggie White too, right?
Yeah, you don't come in there with preconceived notions.
Right.
All right, we got to get to the break.
We got to get to a quick break.
Before we do,
God, we got a lot to talk. We got to go to the Phillies.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Phillies after the break.
Are we done with the Eagles?
For right now, I'm done with them for this year. I'm nauseous.
My God.
Right.
Draft day will be another 2-hour
Oh, my
session.
God. I hope they find someone other than Howie to make the picks. All right, you're listening to Unleashed, brought to you by Raymond Transportation Corporation. For all of your freight shipping needs, truckload, LTL, rail, even same-day expedited. Call my partners at RTC, 1-800-206-3983. Stay with us. right, welcome back to Unleash. I'm Mitch Williams. He is Ray Scipione, and we are pissed.
Very pissed.
But now we get to talk about another favorite subject of mine, the Philadelphia Phillies. And to my surprise, they went out and hired a baseball guy,
You believe it?
Dave Dombrowski. And if people, I can tell you one thing about this man, he
Yes.
knows how to evaluate talent.
Well, I hope so because, God, I got to tell you, Mitch, and I'm not blowing any smoke up your ass, but most of your predictions, I'm not even going to say Phillies, Eagles too, a lot of your stuff comes true. Now, last year you said, people, don't get excited. They're going to go out and get minor league type guys. They need so much help. Well, here we go. I'm going to start off. God, I actually had to write all this down. Your Philadelphia Phillies have been extremely busy, Mitch Williams.
Yes.
So we'll get in. Also, we'll talk about Sam Fold, the new general manager who was a player.
Yeah.
Dombrowski, as you mentioned. So anyway, the Phillies in a 3-team trade gave up Garrett Clevenger,
Lefty.
and receive Jose Alvarado. First move made by Dave Dombrowski. He's the president of baseball operations, as well as your new GM, Sam Fold.
Clevenger's supposed to have a big arm, and Alvarado's is supposed to be even bigger. Both of them struggle with control.
Correct. So now, again, another thing you said that you would do is you would go out and get as many big arms, control or not control, and make them pitchers. Well, here you go, Mitch. They also signed. Now, these names are huge, probably Hall of Famers. Neftali Feliz.
They signed Feliz?
Neftali Feliz and Michael Ynoa, so Noah, to minor league deals, okay? And claimed righty Ian Hamilton off waivers from the Mariners. Now, what do all these names that you probably never heard of outside of Hamilton have to do?
Feliz is the one that gave up the double to David, third baseman from the Cardinals. 2010 World Series.
David, he was with the Giants, wasn't he?
Third baseman.
Oh, God.
I can't remember his
Do you
friggin'
know
name.
Taylor?
Well, anyway.
Anyway, so
he was the one that cried. They got him crying on the bench after he lost the game, and he has never been the same since. He had a huge arm back then.
Well, again, both big arms, both wild, very, very wild. So anyway, claimed Ian Hamilton off waivers from the Mariners. So now they re-signed, as I told you earlier, David Hale, Hector Neris to one-year deals. And also, they signed to a one-year deal. Sir Anthony Dominguez was re-signed, even though he's expected to miss all of 2021 due to Tommy John surgery. And also, they Adam Morgan signed with the Cubs. So that's everything that the Phillies have done besides... and so you're happy with Dombrowski and Fold? I know Fold, I remember him, he was a decent little hitter.
I am happy with it. We have all these people that are analytics people.
Yes.
Dombrowski is not a big analytics guy.
Good.
Sam Fold comes from the organization that, in my opinion, is the gold standard in building a team with a budget. And if Dave, what's his name, John Middleton,
Right.
lets these guys do their job, Sam Fold knows how they did it in Tampa. He was on I believe he was on the 2008 World Series team that lost to the Phillies.
He was on, I'll tell you right now, he's from Stanford. He was not. He was with Chicago 2007, 2009, and 2010.
When did he play for? I know he played for Tampa.
Tampa Bay 2011, 12, and 13.
Okay, well, he is a guy that sees how it works.
Correct.
If he's an analytics guy, I don't know. But he's coming from an organization that made all their decisions based on how much money they can spend and all that analytics.
Correct.
But Friedman did it right in Tampa. He's one of those Ivy League guys. But what he did different, and I'll kind of explain this using an example.
Okay.
The GM in Texas, I can't remember his name, but they got to the World Series with Nolan Ryan as one of their pitching guys, instructors, and all that.
Yeah.
Well, it came to a point where the GM thought he was the reason that they were in the World Series.
Right.
And Nolan said, I ain't going to be no mascot.
No.
And he went to Houston with his son, who's the president of the
Daniels.
Astros. Josh Daniels.
Okay.
He's the GM. He thought he was smarter than Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen what the Rangers have done since Nolan left. Absolutely nothing. And I look at this, and they're both extreme. Andrew Friedman, given a budget, he hired great baseball people around him. He said, this is what we can spend. Go out and find me the best talent you can find for this money.
Exactly.
That's how the Phillies have to operate right now. But they have to have people that can evaluate talent.
And here's another, getting back to the big one of their bigger off-season moves. I'm hearing, Mitch, Real Muto, it's kind of the perfect storm that's kind of going against him.
It is.
And he may not have many choices.
Well, I want to know, did Philly extend the qualifying offer to him?
I know they made an offer to him. They definitely made an offer to him. I know that. Nothing came out of what it was.
If I'm looking at JT, if I'm JT this year, coming off of that COVID season and all that, 60 games,
right?
I'd take a one-year deal.
I was just going to tell. Why wouldn't he do 1 year for $18 million?
Yeah, take the qualifying offer. Go out there, use the season to put up big numbers. If no one's going to pay him what he's worth, you have to wait until they can pay you what you're worth.
You know, I got to be honest with you. The Yankees came out that Sanchez is definitely on the trading blocks.
Oh, really?
I love Real Muto. I don't think he's a Dutch Dalton as far as leader as a leader goes. I know he's well respected. Listen, when you're the best at your position,
yeah,
you're gonna get respect.
Sure, as long now that's not necessarily true, because Barry Bonds was the best at his position for a long time.
He was a prick, wasn't he?
And he was an asshole.
Did you ever have any? Was he just cocky?
He was.
Like
let
me ask you this: before steroids and post steroids, was he the same idiot?
Same asshole.
Really?
I got brought in 92, I think. We were getting the shit kicked out of us in Pittsburgh.
Right.
It's hotter than hell. We're losing 8-1. It's a Sunday day game, and it's the bottom of the seventh. Phone rings in the bullpen. Fergosi. He said, "Tell Mitch he's got the bottom of the eighth." It's 8-1.
Right.
So I walk over and I look at the lineup.
Are you the closer at the time?
Yeah, I was the closer.
Yeah.
So I walk over and look at the lineup card. Bonds is leading off.
Oh boy.
And I go, oh, he had slid into second base and spiked Mickey in the chest.
Really?
Yeah. So I knew why I was coming in.
Oh shit.
So I came in there. First pitch, I missed him, and the second pitch, I hit him so hard in the elbow.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he wearing the big pad?
He put that on the day after I hit him. Wore it the rest of his career.
No shit.
He started to the mound.
Really?
I started in. I said, "Come on, Barry." I said, "We can fight. You may win, I may win, but I promise you, I will hit you in the fucking head every time you walk up there after this." He walked straight to first base, and Crooky's over there going, "Go get him. I ain't gonna stop you. Go get him." I'm sitting there going, "I've been beat up before."
He must have thought you were crazy, man. Absolutely
I was the
crazy.
active leader in hits batsman when I retired, and no one charged.
How many were deliberate?
3.
Out of how many, roughly?
53.
Come on. 3, that's it?
3.
That's crazy. I guess they didn't want to.
You want to know somebody that hit way more people than me on average? Greg Maddux.
I was just going to say Greg Maddux.
Greg Maddux, you have to pitch in.
Right.
But you have to know how to do it. There were times when early in my career, when I pitched in, it was just an accident.
What was Ventura thinking when he charged Nolan Ryan?
He wasn't. Because I'll tell you this about Cowboy. if you're charging them out to fight him, bring a lunch because it's an all-day fucking job.
What else did I have for you? So we went to, let me see, blah, blah, blah. We went through all. So now, real quick, before we get in 9 for 99.
I have to say,
You like? Go ahead.
I have to give the Phillies props.
Okay.
Because going out and getting a president like Dombrowski,
Yep.
I don't know how Fold's going to be. If he's going to be a straight-up analytics guy or if he's going to be the zig to Dombrowski zag or what.
Sure.
But I believe they both can evaluate. I know Dombrowski can evaluate talent. Sam, I don't know because I just don't know him. But Dombrowski, think back to the Detroit World Series team, 2012.
Right.
That was all on Leland, the reason they lost that, because he panicked when his bullpen was in the game. He should have just let it play out. They'd have won that World Series. But look at the talent Dombrowski put together on that team.
Verlander,
Scherzer. There's a third, a right-hander that was really good. I can't remember what his name was.
Oh, he had that big hitter, too. Was it the third baseman, the big Spanish kid?
Cabrera? They had Cabrera. Oh, Torrey Hunter. Dombrowski put together a juggernaut. They just didn't have anything in the bullpen.
So the Phillies cover their bases. You got your analytics guy.
And you got a baseball
And
mind.
you got your baseball guy. You got Fold, who at least he's an analytics guy. He's not some geek. The guy hit 229 in the bigs. He played a lot of years.
He was just a role player.
Yeah.
But he was a solid player.
300 career hits, but still. Hey, look, at least he played. He's not some guy that
he's a baseball player.
Never played the game. Because like you said, first thing they're going to do is grab the baseball card.
I just hope that we're not looking at a situation. Where was Fold? I don't even know where the hell he was.
Just pulled him up right here.
So I look at it and I go, are the Phillies doing this again just so they can control him?
He was with it's showing him in a Tampa Bay. And Mitch, he's 39 years old. Guy's only 39 years old.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I don't know him. I don't know which way he leans toward baseball tradition or analytics. I'm not sure. I know what Dombrowski does.
Right.
So I give Middleton credit. I honestly didn't think they were going to make any moves in that front office. I really didn't. But they have. They fired 80 people.
I know. I still can't believe that, Mitch.
Yeah, it's sad when I hear people that I've seen around there for 30 years and they're gone.
So when he was 35, he was the Major League Player Information Coordinator for the Phillies under Kapler.
Oh, God.
And then after the 18 season, the Toronto Blue he was interviewed as to be their manager for the Blue Jays. He was strong considerations for that. And at 19, I'm just trying to see where he came from, unless he was still with the Phillies. Yeah, so it looks like he was also a finalist for the 2020 season for manager of the Red Sox. So I'll tell you what, Mitch, as much as the analytics goes, this guy was top 2 or 3 for several big manager jobs. So,
Well, Sam,
are we in the game? Are we looking at the Phillies' next manager? Maybe.
No.
Nah, it's a big. No. That's 3 steps down.
I look at it and I take it for what it is. Basically, I would love to know what he's making, because that will tell you whether or not the Phillies are going to be able to puppet him and be the puppet master and make him do everything they want. Because Dombrowski, if Dombrowski's giving the orders, I feel fine about it. If Middleton is, I don't.
So he, trying to find out. Taylor, see if you could find out. I just keep getting his player salary, which was $1.1 million.
They might not have made it public.
Yeah.
He's just a guy that kicked around the big leagues. He was a role player, situational player, that's it. But those guys are normally really smart baseball guys because they watched so many games. If you're not on the field every day, you should be watching. hopefully Sam was.
All right, here we go, people.
Okay, let me do some jumping jacks to get ready for this.
Do some jump. It's been a while, Mitch.
Yes,
Get your football. I'll put it to you this way. Get your NFL hat on.
I've always got that.
Oh, God. God, you're going to love this one. Number 1, Mitch, 9 for 99. The first one of 2021.
God, we're getting old.
Here, tell me. I'm
Shit.
50. Should Doug Peterson be fired, Mitch? Why or why not?
I'm not going to
There
say
yet?
he should be fired, but I am going to say they need a different offensive coordinator. So someone different calling the plays that is more in tune with today's game, because I don't think Doug is. When you go out there and you run the ball straight down someone's throat and take a lead,
Right.
and then after the first quarter, you run the ball 7 times the rest of the game. That's like Doug trying to force I'm going to pass, regardless if it's the best thing for the team.
Was that another way he was trying to lose, Mitch?
I don't know.
It almost seemed like he didn't want to win and get someone in the playoffs that didn't earn it. Like, in other words, if Washington would have beat them, they played their way in. It's almost like he didn't want to win and somebody else get in that sat on their ass and won, 5-6 games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It was
completely.
All right, number 2. Just talked about this. Do you like the Sam Fold GM signing? Also, Dave Dombrowski as well, which...
Love Dombrowski. I'm up in the air on Sam because I just don't know him.
Right.
And I look at it. He's never had a job like this in baseball. So it makes me wonder, did they just go out and hire him because he was a guy that would take a GM job for less money and do everything he's told to do? That's the only thing that scares me.
Good point. Number 3. Is Jalen Hurts the answer?
Right now he was.
So you're ready to get rid of Carson. If, say, someone somehow gives you a pick or it takes a third of the contract, you're ready to hand everything off to this kid.
Yes. His demeanor on the field, the way he carries himself, he's a professional quarterback.
So you're ready to struggle because most rookies, technically next year would be, a full season.
Did Carson struggle in his second year?
No.
No.
Remember, he started off 3-0. They started
They
the
won
Wentz.
11-2.
No. I know his first year, though. Remember, Wentz started 3-0, and they Pennsylvania. They had the shirts printed up and blah, 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 blah. All right, number 4. Again, where will Carson Wentz be playing next year? Best guess.
I look around the league.
Christ, he could go to a number of teams.
Look at Washington.
They said they wouldn't trade him to. I mean, they traded McNabb, which
McNabb was done.
done, yeah.
And I think, honestly, sad to say, I think Carson's done. I really do. I just don't think mentally he's got what it takes anymore. And physically, I know he doesn't.
God, what a shame. Number 5. Would the Eagles be in the playoffs if Hurt started every game?
Yes. All you have to do is look at the sacks. Look at the sacks and interceptions.
By how many games do you think they win? They won 4. Hurts, and it would have had to have been a miracle. Wentz would have had to have gotten hurt. But let's just say
9-7.
honest to God,
Honest to God. They would have beat Washington.
and they win the division by 3 games.
They would have beat Washington both times because the opening game of the year.
Yeah.
They'd have won.
That was horseshit.
They'd have won that game. Look at the games they lost to. God, just horrible. Dallas.
I know.
How do you lose to Dallas?
That hurt the worst watching that friggin' game. Number 6. Here you go. Something we didn't talk about. Your Philadelphia 76ers, Mitch, have the best record in the NBA. Will they win? By the way, how about oh God, what's his face's brother that shoots the threes from Davidson?
Oh, Steph Curry's brother.
What
Seth.
about Seth? 21 the other night, last night.
Shooters, baby.
Remember, they didn't have no outside shooting. Didn't have no. Well, guess what? Christ,
if you wake up in a Curry home, you're shooting from a long ways off.
and it's funny because his brother got real defensive last night. They're starting to question him. I guess he said he had 3 or 4 bad games out of races his whole career. But anyway, so your Philadelphia 76ers have the best record in the NBA, Mitch Williams. Will they win the Eastern Conference?
Yes.
You're sold on him.
I'm sold on Doc Rivers.
This guy is that good, Doc Rivers.
And Daryl Morey. Yes, I am very sold on him.
All right. Here you go, Mitch. Who would you take, number 7, who would you take with the 6th pick in the NFL draft? Now, don't give me a player, but give me a position. Or, Mitch, do you trade that away for 2 number 1s lower? Do you trade it away for a 1 and 2 more 2s? Tell me what you're doing as the GM, knowing what you know and that we need pretty much everything, including a kicker.
If I'm looking at it, I'm going to look to trade that pick.
Really?
To get 2 number 1s, and I would take an offensive lineman, and I would take a receiver. That kid
from Alabama? Yeah, but Mitch, what if – okay, so let me give you this. What if you could get the kid from Alabama with the 6th pick? Do you still trade the 2 1s? I mean, think about it. 2 number 1 picks.
I would think Jalen Hurts has a relationship with the kid coming out of Alabama.
Sure. You had to. Yeah, he played
so,
with him
yeah,
for at least a year.
that could – if he's there, that could be something. Because you're talking about a guy, Randy Moss type guy. Can just blow the top off a game.
Did you notice that Hurts, and maybe it was just coincidental, but didn't it seem like he had more connections to the younger guys? Like he was throwing. It's almost
Zach Ertz.
Yeah, he was done.
Ertz looked like he was trying to lose. Like
yeah.
It was one of those. That was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Because that interception. Did you see the look on Hurts' face after that interception?
Awful.
That was a dime.
But he was throwing to all the rookie. And even, what's his name?
Fulgham guy?
Not Hightower. Yeah,
Fulgham.
Hightower, Fulgham, and who was the other guy? Ortega. All right, Ortega Whiteside.
I hadn't seen him make a catch all year.
God, they did the Mitch, they did the yardage comparison.
Jefferson.
Of the he had
Metcalf.
1,100 more yards than our guy. 1,100, Mitch.
God almighty.
Number 8, did the Eagles play to lose last night?
Yes. It's pitiful, and I hate to say it in the city of Philadelphia.
But Doug don't come out in the locker room and say it, right?
No. That's all controlled by the
the players
figureheads upstairs.
Right, so the players didn't have nothing to do with it.
No, the players knew what was going on, though.
Sure, once they put a guy with gloves on.
Gloves on, and I'm sorry.
Horseshit.
He hadn't played it down.
Yeah, that was awful.
All year. So I look at it for
we're
what it is.
10 minutes ahead, but
in Philadelphia, you don't throw games. And I look at the process that the Sixers went through.
Right.
That's 5 years, and they still didn't get there. So now they had to actually resort to what they should have done to begin with, gone out and got a legitimate coach and a legitimate president and GM.
Number 9, Mitch, for all you degenerate gamblers out there, me being one of them, give us your Super Bowl matchup and who will win the Super Bowl.
Green Bay and the Chiefs.
And who you got? Will Big Red go back-to-back?
No, Big Red's going to go home because Aaron Rodgers, if he meets Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes is good. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is going to school them. That defense, yeah. I honestly believe that with his hard counts and everything, Aaron Rodgers is just too smart.
You don't think I got the Bulls? I got the Bills going. I'll tell you why. There's no way my Andy Reid, my Big Red, is going to win 2 Super Bowls in a row. Doug Williams may hang himself.
You know what? He might do it just to fucking spite us.
Just to spite Philly. How awesome would it be? How awesome would it be? That's why it's a guy like you and I will never be. I always said God will never let me hit the lottery because I would blow it in 3 days. But and no one would ever give us the opportunity to speak to 10 million people. Could you? Because I'd be like, this is for you, Philly. Yeah. This is for you. I won this despite the fans of Philadelphia. That's the only reason I'm still coaching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and he did it last year. I have to touch on something.
Go ahead. We got 10 minutes. We're early. We got 8 minutes.
With the Phillies,
Yes.
let's talk about the rotation.
Okay.
You got Nola,
Let me write this down.
Wheeler,
Nola, Wheeler, definitely.
Eflin,
Velasquez.
and I love how you pronounce it, Velasquez. It's Velasquez.
Oh, Velasquez. Velasquez. I'm Italian.
Yeah, oh, no, really? And then they're rounding it out with the fifth starter, Spencer Howard.
Well, 6 starters.
Remember last
Nola,
year?
Wheeler, Eflin.
That's
I'm sorry, I
5.
screwed up. Yeah, look, I gave Nola 2 spots, Mitch.
He's good.
So who do you got number 5?
They're saying Howard.
Well,
Remember last year when I said he was throwing 97 in the first inning,
right?
and then he was down to 85 with his fastball?
Okay.
And I said he was hurt, and the Phillies came out and said he wasn't hurt. In the paper, I read this morning, 2019, 2020,
Right.
shoulder problems for Howard. So last year he did hurt his shoulder in that game, and they kept it a secret.
Can I read you one headline that I saw today? Is don't count on Spencer Howard to be the starter next year.
Well, this is what gets me. He's thrown 125 innings over the last 2 years.
Okay.
I was a setup guy in Texas in 87. I threw 108 innings in a year. In 85 games, I threw 108 innings. Spencer Howard has thrown 125 innings in 2 years.
These kids, I don't know what it
They
is.
are so pampered and babied. And
It's
we
awful,
are just
Mitch.
breeding
Sissies. I know.
kids that are not mentally tough, don't have any idea what they're actually physically capable of doing.
I want to give you 5 quick questions, Mitch. 5. This is the big. If you go on Phillies website, 5 questions facing the Phillies. I want your take. This is Zalecki's.
You got it.
Well, we got 5 minutes. Will they re-sign Real Muto? What's your weekly? What are you thinking this week? Will they sign
JT? I honestly.
Now remember, McCann signed with the Mets.
Yeah.
And Zunino signed with the Rays. So,
The Yankees is the most logical spot
Okay.
for him.
all right.
Maybe they make him a 1-year offer.
I like the 1-year offer. Dombrowski is in contact with JT's agent. That's a little headline, side note to that. So that's
a good thing.
Absolutely. Number 2, how will they fix the bullpen? They answered that they got one small piece that they traded for.
If Alvarez comes back healthy,
Was it Alvarado? Oh, Alvarez, right.
he got hit in the nuts last year with a line drive. And if
Ouch.
they'd have hit me in the nuts, I would not have made the play at first base. I'd have been running crying. So they got him. They just traded for Alvarado, another big left-handed arm.
Yep.
They got JJ, or what's his name, JoJo.
Our boy.
Yeah. I honestly believe he should be the closer this year, but
It may play out that he's the closer.
I hope it does.
Here you go. Number 3. And let me preface this with if they don't sign Real Muto, they should be pressured to sign this guy. Mitch Williams, and you're not going to like the names they're throwing. Who plays shortstop for the Phillies next year?
I have no idea.
Okay, you ready for this?
Yes.
So Didi Gregorius obviously is someone that they need to sign, especially if they don't sign Real Muto. They also list, your friend and mine, Scott Kingery or Gene Segura could play shortstop. However, Girardi said they haven't been discussed as options yet. There's a guy that's smart. Mitch! Awesome. Missed. So who's their shortstop after Didi? You have no idea.
I would go with Segura. I came back here. I moved back here a year and a half ago.
Right.
And I hadn't watched any baseball in 5 years because of what I was going through. All I heard about Gene Segura is that he was a dog and he played his ass off last year. So in my opinion, he's earned the opportunity to at least compete for the job.
Okay. You got it. Number 4, is this it for the rotation? and they mention Velasquez.
Well, they've got
They tendered, so the old regime tendered a right-hander, Vince Velasquez, a contract earlier this month, in part because they believe new pitching coach Caleb Cotham has...
Caleb.
What's his name?
Caleb.
Who'd I say?
Caleb.
Caleb Cotham can succeed where the other six people have.
I don't know Caleb at all. Never heard of him. I don't know what he's bringing as a pitching coach.
I like Caleb, though.
That scares me.
That does?
If I haven't heard his name, how much time could he have played in the big leagues?
And finally, Mitch Williams, with 2 minutes to go. Will, number 5, Dave Dombrowski make any further changes to the front office? Now, he named Sam Fold as general manager. He promoted Jorge Valandia as assistant GM and Terry Ryan as special assistant to the GM.
What did they do with Klentak and Ned, or whatever his name was?
It says, are other changes coming? Dombrowski said assistant GM Ned Rice and Brian Minetti will remain in their current roles with their current responsibilities, but possible responsibility changes. It says, here you go, Dombrowski already said former GM Matt Klentak is no longer involved with the day-to-day efforts in the front office.
Good.
Boom. There's your boy.
That's a good note to end this edition
Bet
of
your
Unleashed
ass.
On.
Go Eagles.
We'll be back next Monday. Y'all have a good day.